should be back now, hopefully. Just restarted the stream. Using the Leaf Assassin to kill the flyer here. Doing some pretty heavy cleanup here. We do have a protection of the Angels. Evil Elemental Uprising by paying 3. We're going to get rid of the graveyard right now while we have the chance. Go down to 28. And then we're going to go to Andrew's turn. Ruined Earth coming in here to pop the white stone from the rune deck. And then we'll also kill the Leaf Assassin and the Lorite. Unless we have some kind of cancel for Cal. He does have the ability to search. So he could go get a cancel here, a vanish. But he doesn't have the will to be able to, because he doesn't have an elemental engrave. I guess he does have the will to be able to pay it. It would tap him out for the turn, though, to cast vanish here. Gonna see us sealing the gates of darkness while we have the chance. Probably gonna kill the transmuter, I imagine. And limit the amount of options that Andrew has for will production. So let's at least take advantage of this while I have the chance. Floats the white. So this is telling Andrew that he's going to, at the end of turn, at some point in time at the end of turn, we're going to see this sealing the gates come down. It's just a matter of what gets hit, which now puts Andrew in a weird spot because he has to kind of pick the rest of his turn here to, what card he wants to protect. And interestingly enough, how did the 3-drop barrier die? He used a Leaf Assassin to kill it, GR Zurza. So the obvious pick here is to kill the mana transmuter. I think because at least it can't block with a pumped up. Because Layla can't kill Gil if it gets pumped up by a protection of the Angels. And we can just also keep Andrew at 2 will potentially for our turn to be able to play around with it. If Andrew taps out here, though, it's really bad for him. See a Layla coming down here. We have the extra white. Sealing the Gates of Darkness to hit the mana transmuter. We can't protect it. It's going to get killed. We're going to pay 3, gain 5 total. Oh, no, we're just going to let it go. Go down to 28. Now, if Cal had a... So this would actually be really interesting. If Cal has a blue leaf here, and a blue leaf... Oh, he doesn't have it. That's really unfortunate. That actually might have been the potential for Cal to just actually steal the game. If he had a blue leaf and a 5th element and another elemental, during the end of Andrew's turn, he could have gone, bounce the blue leaf, use the blue leaf, bounce Layla, banish the blue leaf, 5th element, the other Layla, just have a clear board. So just during upkeep, we're going to go ahead and have... we also had the elemental in hand. It's really interesting. We're going to go searching. Protection of the Angels is going to come in here. So the Layla is going to get to be able to block the ult. See the light. feel like Cal wasn't thinking here. Protection of the Saint Angels getting, wasting a gill search. Lowrights the Stone Gain trigger. Yeah, there was an opportunity there for Cal to close the game. I just don't think he had it in hand. But like he had the elemental engraved, right? So if he had blue leaf and a fifth element, he actually could have just killed both and then swung in for lethal. Searched for an Ultra Awakening and then had it. But yeah, maybe he's just trying to get it out of the way, get the protection out of the way. Andrew's hand is not great right now. We don't have the ability to Judgment Brunhild. Looks like we see a Gene, another Evil Elemental Uprising. Blade of Faith. Looks like Blade of Faith, Altar, Evil Elemental Uprising, and Astema. Andrew. Oh, we do have. Oh, sorry. The other 3-drop is the protection from barrier chance. Angel coming in here. It looks like we're going to see it. Cal potentially having the cancel here. Definitely doesn't have the elementals in hand for a Leaf Assassin to get that out of the way. Gene swinging in at Gil. He's going to go ahead and block. Now, Andrew could have tapped out and used Spear of the Valkyrie to kill that, but Cal has lots of options to be able to answer that. He doesn't necessarily really want to tap out, especially since he just lost his Gene. Let's see. This looks like the hand is Altar, Blade of Faith, Evil Elemental. We're just going to move into combat. Attempts to block. We're going to Windblade the Gene. After the Eremos, or I think its name is Eremos, gets killed. Looking in the wrong folder here. Yeah, Andrew's turns have pretty much been consisting of just putting up a wall that Cal gets to then knock down. He's not really necessarily applying pressure back on Cal. And so it leaves Gil. I mean, a Gil is a toolbox deck, right? So when you have this kind of toolboxiness, yeah, Andrew's just trying to dig for something, gaining that extra life, put himself out of Ultra Awakening range. That we know Ultra Awakening is in Cal's hand. I can math. Looks like we see a March of the Dead, that Evil Elemental. Still not the best hand here. There is an Athenia. It looks like Athenia's not going to do much here, though, but we are going to cast it, at least without body, and forces him to have to sack something. But we do have everybody's favorite card, Lowright, stopping the initial sack trigger. Once again, leaving Andrew pretty low on will. Not really much to do during Cal's turn. Cal not really in lethal range because he's already burned his Winds of Vitality unless he's playing a second one. But still can just chip away. I mean, if he does have a second one, it's the biggest brain play I've ever seen, but we'll see. We're going to banish Windblade during the end phase so that we can get a search on Cal's turn and then draw for turn. So Cal does have another elemental engrave here, so we are going to get a banish and a search. The weird thing about Evil Elemental Uprising is it actually doesn't stop Gil from being able to produce Will because it doesn't use the chase. So even if he uses Evil Elemental here, Gil is still going to be able to produce the 2 Will. The time would have been to potentially cast it here during the upkeep so that the 2 Will vanish. So it locks him out, but still it's pretty suboptimal just to play a minor inconvenience like Cal. Thinking about whether or not to swing in with the Gil here now. Athenia just by herself can block. Toby, he played the Whispers of an Angel spell, which gained him 8 life. So Cal swinging in with Gil, knowing that Athenia is there. Athenia can just straight up block if it wants. There's nothing really in hand here for Andrew that really helps. I think there's a Power of Immortality, but nope, it's just an altar. So he's just going to take it. He's not going to try to block. See, he's going to declare no blocks, it looks like, so potentially going down to 25. If Cal has the big brain play of a second Winds of Vitality here in response to no blocks, I think Cal's thinking about how greedy he wants to potentially try to be. Nope, he's just going to say, okay, you take the 11. We're going to play a little bit safer. Just take him down to 25, put him once again in that range. And leave up all that open will as much as we want for Andrew's turn. So during the upkeep, we did the Athenia trigger, so we've got -2 on the board. Andrew's sitting at 8 stones right now, so unfortunately doesn't have a 2020 Oborozuki available. Still, oh, it does see the protection of the angels, so that's pretty good here. March of the Dead Awakened. Gonna get to go grab a Jean and a Layla for the targets anyway. We're gonna bounce the other Layla back to hand with Blue Leaf in response. Oh, it is -4. You're right. Because he has 4 runes revealed. It doesn't hit J rulers, though, so it doesn't really matter. All it means is that any kind of resonator that Cal tries to play just immediately gets to go to grave. I'm going to go searching. Do you search for a vanish here? Yep. Searching for that vanish to stop that. Now, the problem here is Athenia can just crack into Gil, being an 11, 12. And there comes the altar. So, yeah, we're just going to swing in Athenia at the Gil. It doesn't look like we have any kind of pumps. Sorry, it's a 12-10. My apologies. So it'll be a trade. And then at that point in time, he has to sacrifice an entity. So we lose a Windstone. The problem is... the problem is here at this point is that Cal has 6 grand life. And Andrew has not been putting a lot of pressure on there, and we know we have an Ultra Awakening. So if we see something like, we're just going to start calling stones with Cal, but If we see a Leaf Paladin, that's suddenly lethal. They have the 9:28 because you did like a second little meeting with them, right? Yeah, so they're on my time. Yeah. The problem here is now we have 9 minutes for Andrew to try to do lethal. Now this deck can do lots of damage very quickly, so we'll have to see. Messenger coming down here. He banished a stone, Overlord. Ooh, a little bit of a dead draw there with that sealing the gates of darkness for Cal because his white stone's gone. During the upkeep, we're going to go ahead and just cycle with some Gentle Breeze elementals. Spiritual Guidance. Let's gain even more life. He'll gain 5. Go up to 6,500. And an Absolute Awareness just to go get another stone, try to catch up. Brunhild performing Judgment here. This would be a moment where I think you would try to recycle Spirit Magics. Although looking in Cal's grave, he has 1, 2. He does have 3, so he could go get a search for a Spirit, get a Lorite back with Spirit Magic. And then try to. We had Lorite in hand, so we didn't necessarily even need to it. But we're going to try to stop the reanimate of the Gene. Oh, my bad. Should be 65. He didn't just suddenly lose 3,000 life. Good catch. He has Spiritual Guidance in grave as well, Logan. So the problem here is now we're gonna pump up Lorite during the upkeep. It's now a 2-3, getting in there. Although wait a minute, 3 Saintly Elven Stones. We have no White Will. If Andrew lets this, okay, so if Andrew lets this Lorite swing through, forgetting about Ultra Awakening, it's actually lethal. Because he can pump with Saintly Elven, go up to being a 500, and then pump it by 2,000. So he can just 25 with a Lorite. So we'll have to see if Andrew recognizes. What's up? Yeah. So we'll have to see. Yeah, or you can just pass. I mean, Cal is. I think at this point in time, been losing Gil. Andrew's. Yeah. My little button, my little buzzer at the table works. What are we trying to do? We're trying to bounce the Lorite back to hand in response to the Blade of Faith. We're drawing a card off a Messenger. That's an Astema. So that's going to drain and gain. So we're at a 6,000, 3,000 life point game. So we can't Ultra Awakening you with a Lorite anymore. Brunhild swinging in for 12, taking him down to 48. Catch, guys. Yeah, I think he Lorited the enter. Oh, whoops, 25. We got that Lorite. It's now sitting at being a 5-6. Oh, we're blocking with Layla. We have wide open for protection of the Angels, though. Gonna attempt a wind blade. Protection of the Angels. That'll keep it safe. Lorite's gonna get killed here. So I'm realizing that Andrew is very clearly trying to save for exactly this moment. In response to the Lorite recycle, Evil Elemental Uprising, gonna just get rid of all of it. And at that point in time, it's literally a race to the finish to see if Andrew can do enough damage to push it. Leaf Assassin. Does he have any other leaves in hand? Spear of the Valkyrie too. So, sacking in response. Okay, the bluff was effective. Sacrificed a messenger to the altar in response to fear from the double elemental in hand. Athenia coming down in here. Gonna say sack a unit. Oh, okay. Thank you for catching that, guys. 5100. And then we're swinging in for 12, down to 39. Swinging in for 7, down to 32. You guys have 2 minutes left still, guys. Andrew, you guys still have 2 minutes. Yeah. Gene coming in here with the altar. Swinging in for 7, taking him down to 25. And just like that, it's a nope, not that. Jeez Louise. This is why I want a system to be able to update like I want it to. So 25 to 25. These players still have a minute 30 left on their time on round before they will be going to turns. Cal just trying to hopefully dig into an answer here, but ultimately just recognizing that he can't. So that is going to be a draw for this match, and then we'll see how it goes. They're going to sit down for a sec. Hey, buddy. How's it going? Oh, wait, I have to do this because I actually have things. Hold on. Jeremy Franklin. Derek M. Save. Cool, that worked. And now they should be able to hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
You can't hear me in your ear?
I can hear you like from.
How about now?
No, I can hear you on this.
There you go. Okay. Hopefully this works. So we're gonna talk a little bit about. So that was interesting. You watched a lot of that match over my shoulder.
Yep, yeah, that was interesting.
There was a lot of interesting plays happening there.
Wasn't sure about the whole attacking with Gil with the Athenia on board. That seemed a bit risky.
Yeah, I think that there was a moment where Cal actually, if he had the right cards in hand, he actually had a perfectly safe lethal when during the end of Andrew's turn he had one white stone ep. No mic from Derek. What?
Oh,
no.
You can't hear my beautiful voice. What about now?
You're plugged in, so you should be going. Oh, yeah. I mean,
Can you hear me now?
you should be.
How about now, chat?
Chat. You
Chat,
should be
please.
live. Unless my headset randomly decided to stop working, which would be great for me.
Chat, we need your help.
Yeah, please.
I think I can hear myself, so.
Yeah, you should be able to hear yourself in one ear.
It's coming through yours.
That's weird. It should be. Yeah, now you can hear it.
All right,
okay,
now you
perfect.
can hear
okay,
my
perfect. I
beautiful
was like,
soothed
something
voice.
should be there. There was a moment where if Cal had a blue leaf in hand and a fifth element, he actually could have had lethal because he could have bounced at the end of Andrew's turn, bounced the Layla fifth elements the other Layla, and then it would have been a clear board for him to just crack in. But I just don't think he had the cards there, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. But I mean, it ended
Yeah.
up being a draw. So
It
like a draw
happens.
is not a draw during round one. Like if you want a draw, like
Yeah, it's
round
not the
one is
worst.
round one is the time to get a draw.
Yeah, definitely.
And what are you playing this weekend?
Black Paper and Hill.
Black River.
Yeah. It's
Okay, sweet.
kind of like Andrew's list. I noticed he was playing Ruined Earth. I decided to cut that.
Oh, okay.
It feels great against Gil.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, they have the
feels
one stone, and you're
phenomenal.
just like, bought
But
it.
against other matchups, it just felt way. I wasn't feeling it. So.
Sure. Well, I do have the ruler breakdown here. So we have 25 players here today. 5 Brunhild and 5 Gil.
Wow.
4 Lucifer, and then 2 Adam, 2 Lich, 2 Loki, and then 1 each of Ayu, Chamimi, Fushi, and Isis.
There's a Fushi.
Oh, sorry,
here.
and Rhea. There's 1 Rhea here.
Bless that Rhea player.
Yeah, bless.
Oh,
Who
I
wants to
got
bet
my
that?
round one
Who
Logan.
want to bet that there's a Lucifer in the sideboard of that Rhea list?
Probably. I'm willing to bet a pretty penny.
Sync is off a bit, but nothing serious. Okay, that's a little weird. Next time a forceful tournament is coming to show. Oh, so I will say this. We're going to take it because we're going to be going to round 2 here very quickly. You are going to see a link in the in-between here, but I'm also going to talk about it. We at Ruler School are hosting a tournament in October on October 12th. I'm going to put a link here. VidyaGaming.com. I think that should take you to where you need to go. That's the pre-reg for it, and it is the it is the Ruler School Grand FoW Festival. We're doing it at a school just outside of the Detroit, Michigan airport. It's very easy to get to. You can pre-register online, and we are putting pretty much 100% of all the entry fees right back into the prize pot.
Oh, baby.
So we are So pricing that I have is minimum $500 to top 8. $500 cash. At
Nice.
60 players, we break it to 1K. Every player who shows up is going to get a GP Lightning Cave and a playmat. You get either a random playmat if you spend the lower level entry fee, or for $5 more, you get to pick your playmat. And we've got playmats from all over the course of Force of Will's history,
Right.
like all the way back to, we even have an original ARG Circuit Series Bahamut mat,
Oh.
like way back.
Okay.
So we have that. 9th through 16th are going to get, and potentially top 8, but that's based on attendance. 9th through
Right.
16th are all going to get a DKP Productions magnetic playmat kit.
Oh.
That's 9th through 16th. Top 8 are all going to get gold Uber Arthurs.
Hey.
First, second, and third are going to get the respective plate metal Arthurs, so gold, silver, and bronze. And then top 8 will get to pick in order a set of dual stones.
Oh,
Of the promo dual
promo.
stones.
Oh, those are
Yeah.
those are so beautiful.
So, yeah, it's gonna be, and that's just the start. Like the company's sending some other stuff. We have some other lines on some other sponsors, and there's a rumor that we're working on that it's actually gonna be the first event that has invites to this new circuit series that I'm working on, to the first ever nationals. So it's gonna be October 12th. You can check the link in the chat. You're definitely gonna want to come. The more people that we have pre-register, the more we can give away. So
All right.
we
Mark your
definitely
calendars.
support it. Yeah, just mark your calendars. October 12th. It's really easy to fly to Detroit. It's like literally 15 minutes outside of Detroit. The event details are in the little in-between thing, and then we'll post links throughout the day. So
All right.
really looking forward to that. And it is going to be the new meta, right? It's
Oh,
New
for
Frontiers.
Sure. I'm so excited.
So
for this new meta.
yeah, you can pre-reg for a $5 discount and everything else, and yeah, it's gonna be new meta, so it's gonna be wild. And then on day 2, we're gonna do like on-demand win-a-boxes for Epic Stories.
Ooh.
So just like play Epic Stories, 8
Oh,
people
man,
show
I'm
up.
gonna have to create an Epic Stories deck.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
gonna be
geez.
great. So I'm really excited about it. But yeah, we're gonna take a little bit of a break here because it looks like we're gonna be moving into the next round here in just a little bit. But we'll be back.
All right.
Thanks, guys. See you in a bit. Hey there, everybody. Welcome back. We are just getting everything set up here for round 2. We're going to have Ayu here. Jessica Butters is currently, she won her last round, so she will be on stream playing Ayu, and we're waiting to hear who her opponent is. So we're just going to go ahead and jump in. So lots of interesting stuff. Should be a lot of fun. So I'm just going to kind of mute myself here, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we are jumping here. We got Clayton Fish, and he is playing Loki Machines. So we have Ayu versus Loki Machines. Going to be an interesting matchup for sure. I think Ayu's kind of favorite here. However, if Loki can successfully get off can put into play an Arthur and have enough counters, and actually, it's kind of the entire matchup really hinges around the Loki, the Arthur. Not sorry, the Lancelot. My apologies. So, just getting everybody set up here, and then we'll have 60 minutes on the round, and we'll go into round 2. Sorry.
All right, Force of Will players, welcome to round 2. You have 60 minutes. You may
And with that, we begin our round 2. You can let them know they're on the same time. So, this should be interesting. It really is. I've played this match against the gentleman that I'm actually staying with this weekend, Mike Nolan. I played this matchup against him, and it definitely feels pretty hard for Machines. But again, if she can if Clayton can get out that Lancelot and have enough counters, then it puts Ayu in a pretty weird spot. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and dive right in. Looks like Loki seems to be going on the draw for round 1. So let's see if our bunny will work. Put in the work. I'm very excited for machines this next set as well, Mario. I think there's going to be a lot of fun here. For those of you who are just joining us, if you like what we're doing here today and want to support us, go ahead and try to click that join button. It's right down below. It's minimum $2 a month, and it gets you access to all kinds of cool things like the badges, your name in the credits, custom emoji to use. We are actively trying to get 10 members by the end of this stream today, so I would really appreciate if that happens. So if you guys want to join up, really appreciate it. Goes directly to support the channel and actually helps us access our ad revenue faster as well. First turn, Magic Stone of Time. Not really what IU wants to be seeing off the top. We really want to try to see, obviously, the Possession Stone, so we have access to all 5 colors. So Jessica, unfortunately, just having to do a first turn pass. First turn, Basic Water. From out comes Guinevere, the Mobility Queen. And then just a pass. There's the Possession Stone for Jessica, so immediately back in this game with access to 5 colors. See what she has to work with here. No additions. There's, ooh, it looks like that potentially is a special power medicine that might get played this turn, I think. Looks like we're just seeing a pass, though. So nothing turn 1 or 2 from IU. Essentially just a handful of souls. Maybe just thinking Judgment next turn and to just kind of pull off lethal the following turn. Maybe saving some will open to try to disrupt Clayton on his turn using some quick cast stuff and then perform Judgment. We see a, there are 0 Kyrix at this event, Logan. There are 0 Kyrix at a USGP. We're seeing the attempt to immediately banish the, oh, okay. So we're seeing a Donut Drone come down, attempting to put all of its counters on Gwyn. In response to that, we're going to go ahead and use Dragon's Lord's Breath and bounce the Gwyn back to hand. So really, just completely kind of walking into that a little bit. And we are going to get to draw a card. So, oh, are we maybe attempting to banish the... Hold on 1 second. I'm going to get it 1 second. So I was right here. We're seeing a look of corruption. So she bounced, and then the Guinevere got recast is what happened. So seeing a glint of insight come down here. We do see the Saturnus. A couple of Merlins that can't get grabbed. The Donut Drone and the Skyfall. I imagine the play is to probably grab the Donut Drone here to just steal as many of the counters as possible. Yeah, that seems about right. The Skyfall doesn't really matter. It's not going to bounce a J Ruler. Not a great hand for the Loki Machines player. Finally seeing the dramaturgy here. Looks like we did draw into a Lancelot there. Not sure what it's going to do, unfortunately, with just Guinevere on board. We do see a mystery box, so we could, with how things have been going for the IU deck, we could see enough will to get that mystery box out, but it is going to take quite a bit. Saturnus isn't going to do much right now. So we're just going to go ahead and swing in for 2. I think the right call is just to take that damage. And then we're just going to pass the turn here. Wait, hold on. Let's see. I feel like the right call here is just a Judgment IU. The Loki Machines isn't really putting a ton of oppression up. You know what the hand is for the most part. Really just probably going to set up for an OTK next turn. Loki doesn't seem to have any flyers in hand. And so really we're probably just going to see the damage go through. Unfortunately what's in the hand, I don't really see a way for Loki to stop this IU from just cracking in for 40 damage next turn. Misty Dragon Spirit coming in. She still has access to the possession zone here, so we can go get Resuscitating Will with the Goddard if we need to next turn. Don't necessarily based on how many souls we have in hand. Offering the cut off after the search. And then at end of turn discarding the Black Leaf. And the miscalculation. The Black Leaf discard seems a little interesting because there's potentially so many 1-drops coming around, but I can see it being the discard with her knowing what's in hand thanks to the thought control. Yeah, with Samurai in hand and a Goddard for Resuscitating Will. This is game 1. Yeah. What? Merlin coming down here. The card that we have not seen in quite some time. I believe he'll be able to grab a 2-drop. Yeah, X+2. Yeah, so we're getting a 2-drop. So we're getting the addition Sky Round here. Unfortunately, this is not anything that's going to stop IU from being able to swing in, because there's no flyer. We'd have to have a Vivian right now. Energize into Vivian. And then at least at that point in time, you can tap IU down for a turn. But even then, it feels a little like it's pretty much game. If he passes the turn here, which he does, unfortunately. So this IU is actually just going to crack in and deal the full damage here. She's got probably access to at least 2 souls in hand. We know she has at least access to 1. Goddard for Resuscitating Will, have flying, and then we're just done from there. So Misty Dragon Spirit to discard to IU, make her a 1500 flyer. And then if we have another soul here, yeah, it seems like Clayton hasn't necessarily played against IU before, so that's why this is happening. So Vivian can't target rulers. Thanks, Baba. So discarding it. Oh, just the one soul. So we're just swinging in for 15. Interesting. I know you know your machines. My apologies. So no second soul here. Oh, no, there it is. Okay, cool. So we were waiting to see about declaration of no block. So now we're at 20. I'm going to be swinging in for 20 damage. And then we can Goddard for resisting. Whoa, okay. Now we're up to 2,500. How many souls do we have? Is she even needing it? There's 3,000. 35. Says I don't need no resuscitating well. 35. And wow, actually just has the full spread in hand to do 4,000 one shot with no resuscitating will. So yeah, that's 4,000 damage, and we move on to game 2. Wow, just like that. Says I don't need a white card. And yeah, we'll move on. That is probably the first time in a long time that I've seen an IU player just have that many souls in hand. It's mostly always been drop 2 and then Goddard for resuscitating will. Although the safest play is to do exactly what just happened. Is deal 4 grand with just discard from hand, and then you have Goddard to be able to answer anything that they do in response. But yeah, just absolutely just cracking in for 4 grand damage. So with that, we'll move into game 2. Not entirely sure what the sideboard is here for the Loki deck, but it is ultimately just going to be about getting to a pumped up 10 counter access Lancelot as fast as possible, because Lancelot's ability to remove abilities is super relevant when IU is going to swing. So what happens is, like, as they go to swing, you let them discard all their stuff, and then you use Lancelot's effect, and it removes all of the plus bonuses for the turn, and stops her from being flying. She doesn't have imperishable anymore, and then you can just block. And then at that point in time, you know, if you kill IU, if she doesn't have imperishable, I mean, she pretty much, that's the end of the game there. So it really is going to come down to whether or not we see a bit of a faster start for Clayton to be able to keep up with the potential explosion that is an IU deck. Two games so far and only one rune deck. There have been last match had Brunhild, so there's been 2 rune decks, but Loki machines didn't use the rune deck at all this past game. So Machina as a ruler for more machine support. That would be pretty sweet. We'll have to see if going into the past of Autoraktia will change what rulers we have in regards to how they will support or what the characters will be. Using Arthur, really? Yeah, especially with the new set coming out, I think it's going to be really good to play Arthur. Draw the extra card at the beginning of the game. Clayton choosing to go on the draw. Not entirely sure why. Oh, no, choosing to go on the play. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. First turn stone, water magic stone. Vivian, there we go. Vivian finally getting to come down. Now we're going to start to see a more aggressive start from Clayton, which is what he wants to see in this matchup. Possession stone, nope. Speaking stone, or sorry, time stone. Not entirely bad when you have access to energize, so you still have Dragon's Lord's Breath plus bounce. We're just going to use Dragon's Lord's Breath right now. We're not going to awaken it or anything. We're just going to put that IU back, or that Vivian back in your hand and say, okay, let's reset your clock. Let's reset your aggression, your gaining of counters, and we'll just go from there. Potential turn here would be Vivian Guinevere would be a really good play, because again, that would put 3 counters on board. Yep, Vivian following it up with a Guinevere would be the best play possible in this situation, I think. Donut Drone. So Donut Drone works too. Gets 1, can banish the Donut Drone to go up to 5 counters. Although you don't want to leave yourself with just 1 creature on board really at this point in time. Sure, you can't banish it during your opponent's turn, but having already burned the Dragon's Lord's Breath, you might feel a little bit safer. Because again, IU only gets to play 1 copy of every card in her deck. We're just going to see a Sword Strike. That'll do it too. So Sword Strike is going to be a guaranteed kill here. So she reveals the top 5 cards of her deck if they're all different. As long as there are, let's see, if the name of all these cards, if none of them share a name, destroy a Resonator. So none of them are going to share a name because it's IU, so it's just a 1-drop kill spell. That Vivian is just not going to get to help Clayton at all to build up those counters. So next turn, we don't have a Possession Stone, so we really are just waiting for Possession Stone to come down from somewhere. A Gawain coming down here. You can banish the Donut Drone and hit with the Gawain for quite a bit of damage. We can also do maintenance on the Gawain, hit with both. If you really wanted to get greedy, you could do maintenance and then banish the Donut, swing with the Donut Drone and then hit. But instead, we're not going to do any of that. We're just going to pass, it looks like. Calling Stone here. Still no Possession Stone for the IU deck, which is not great, although we saw last game she really doesn't necessarily need it based on how many souls she's keeping in hand. See a special power medicine come down. Oh no, sorry, that's a magic wind chime. That's the promo version of magical wind chime, which helps her out a little bit based on what's potentially in her hand. Definitely could see a sec. If we get a Possession Stone next turn, IU can just explode. She does have access to the Wind Chime with, based on what's happening, based on what's in her hand, could be a decent answer to whatever Clayton's going to try to do here. Clayton just needing to swing in. We do see that Lancelot coming in. So that's good. If it can stay protected, that Lancelot is kind of exactly what we needed right now. We're going to get 3 counters on it. We're going to get maintenance. We have, so we're going to have 2 stones. Oh, we're seeing an Erendite to cancel the Lancelot automatic ability to give the counters. So Halloween Erendite here. stopping it. Trying to find the Aaron Dyke card art here. So Nitrogen Blade to stop. We're going to go ahead and see, just go ahead and hit for 12 with the Gawain. Yep, down to 28. Another donut drone coming into play here. So this does give us, with this donut drone here, if we'd immediately banish it, which we didn't, plus maintenance would give us 10 counters. Look of Corruption coming into play here, saying, let's see what's in that hand of yours. Potentially just to see if there's anything safety-wise that can kill the Ayu. It definitely feels to me, ooh, or Return to God, like that's the obvious grab. It definitely seems to me like Jessica is trying to prefer to just keep a ton of souls in hand and just do 40 in one shot. The problem here is whether or not Clayton recognizes his IU, his Lancelot effect to be able to turn off the IU. Seeing a Judgment's going to go get a Samurai Spirit. Just have lethal. I mean, the hand of the Loki player right now isn't going to do anything. Looks like he just top decks a Return of God, though. So that's pretty good. Oh, no, it's a Merlin. That's Merlin. Not going to be super great. The Wind Chime does give her access to Resuscitating Will because it is a chant. So at this point in time, she doesn't necessarily need to have 8 souls. Or sorry, she doesn't, yeah, 6 souls. But still, it's going to come down to what Clayton does to generate counters and how he burns them, how he spends them. This is actually game 2 already. Gary, we're in game 2. IU won game 1. Yep, there's that top deck Return of God. So we're getting a look at the top 7, and we get to go grab, it looks like 5. So a 5-drop or less. A Lancelot would be an excellent card to grab here off of this Return of God. If we have one, it'd give a ton of counters. There is a Lancelot in there. That seems like the easy grab. Yeah, the second Lancelot here is pretty crucial. Yep, there it is. So second Lancelot coming down off the return. Really good value off of it. You paid 2, you got a 3-drop. We're going to get a counter on everybody here, which suddenly makes, yeah, the Gawain can actually, let's see, with, let's see, if we burn, let's go up to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we can actually burn the board with the donut drone. We can do the board burn and still keep all of the counters on Gawain. So if Gawain swings in here and he has maintenance in the sideboard, and like IU goes to like pump block, it actually will kill the IU if Clayton recognizes that mechanic. So, oh, yep, so we're going to see it. We're going to see IU trying to block the Gawain. Not choosing to pump, just saying, okay, we're going to get... So then we're going to banish to put the extra counters onto Lancelot. Why would you remove the counters from Gawain? So we need maintenance here. So we see maintenance as a quick cast. Add the extra counters to... Don't add them to Gawain. You add them to the Lancelots. We are now at 10, just with the Lancelots. Oh, putting an extra couple counters on the Gawain. I can see the idea of using the Gawain here. You also want to wait until she burns a couple souls, but instead just choosing to go ahead and do it. We're going to use Lancelot's effect to nuke the board, and it will remove all of Ayu's effects for the rest of the turn. So then Ayu will lose all those effects if this is going to resolve, and then we'll have no imperishable, so we'll die, and so we're going to go on to game 3 most likely. I'm trying to see if there's anything... Yeah, the Return of God was definitely key here. I'm trying to think through Ayu lists. Lightning Shield? Or, looks like we do have a way to... Oh, actually... Oh no, we've already used Sword Strike. So the Sword Strike here would have actually been really good. If she has something in deck to be able to bounce the Gawain, then actually this is a hard punish. A Shayla's Return, actually. If she's playing Shayla's Return, and we got art for Shayla's Return here, this is actually going to go back to being Jessica's game, because she can just got art, Shayla's Return, bounce the Gawain back to hand, and then at that point in time, sure, you burned all your counters, but then Ayu is safe. Like, Ayu doesn't take any damage here. So we would have to have a Shayla's Return here, and then at that point in time, it stops it. So getting a judge call here, we're going to put a pause on the timer. Pause it real quick. Looking into exactly how Lancelot reads, how it works. And then we're back. Just clarifying for Lancelot. Okay, sounds good. That's what I thought. So, yeah, the play here is just a got art for Shayla's Return if it's in the deck. It should be. It's a pretty staple card because it's a blue bounce spell for something 4 or less. But no, we're not. We're not going to got art. So that Ayu is actually dead. And at that point in time, we probably concede. But, I mean, she does have Misty Dragon Spirit potentially. You have the volume at 100%. It's still kind of hard to hear me. I can pump it up a little bit. How's that? I just don't want it to be too gainy. I can try to pump it up just a little bit. So they currently have... So Apex Dragoon, they still have a CEO with I Spy. His name is Kim. They still have a new CEO. And this is actually the last GP in the United States for this season. Although, if you're interested, in October of this year, right outside Detroit, we're doing a really, really big tournament that I think people are really going to want to come to. Cash prizing and all. It's going to be pretty awesome. In comes a Freya? not really going to be helping right now outside of filtering. That's definitely an interesting card to add to this deck. Just to maybe draw in, just make it so that like, oh, I'm playing one, single copy, so it gives me a chance to draw 2 per turn and get what I need. But right now she doesn't have another machine, so it's just 200 defense. Still no possession stone here. Sleepy Cat Spirit coming in. It's our barrier, our 4/6 barrier spirit. Apex, I think plane tickets to Detroit will be pretty easy for you to get. Bob, are you saying say what now to my comment about a big tournament in October in Detroit? Because you need to come. Just check it out. There's some information down here. There's the link. Yep, so we're going to Skyfall to put the Freya back in hand and end of turn. The more people who pre-register for our events, the better, because we're pretty much taking 100% of the entry fees and pouring them back into the prize pool, and we're doing cash. So like top 8's going to be getting cash. So the more you can do, the more we get pre-registers, the more we can offer in terms of pricing. So down comes a Freya here. Yeah, the new set will be legal during that tournament as well, for sure. We will be streaming it as well. So Merlin getting a 2-drop. I imagine we're probably going to go get the Camelot here, or sorry, Sky Rounds, because it's going to make all of these machines suddenly significantly bigger. And staring down a pretty massive board, Jessica doesn't really have a way to come back. So I'm going to go verify. Once I see what he grabs, I'm going to go verify. It's a missed trigger, so it's a misadvantageous trigger. So the way it works is because he missed it, I'm going to wait for all of this to resolve. I'm going to wait for it all to resolve because triggers happen in different orders, guys. So if they try to go to move something else, I'm going to put my little pause button here, and then I'll go get our judge and let them know exactly what's going on, because it is an advantageous trigger. So because he missed it, Jessica would be able to choose whether or not he gets to take it or not. The enter effect and the trigger from Viv happen at the same time. So we'll see what happens, and I might pause it. The event will have some Halloween-themed stuff at it, because we're doing it in October 12th, so you should definitely just come to our event anyway. So I have my button ready to pause them, just trying to see if they sequence it properly, whether or not I actually need to pause them or not. And if we move into combat, oh, Jessica's pointing out. Okay, there we go. So Jessica pointed out that the counters needed to happen, so we get it. We go ahead and Jessica being a good sport here and reminding him of the triggers and getting those free counters. Lancelot swinging in for 7. She takes it down to 21. He's swinging in with a lot here, so I'm gonna wait until full life total is done. We're gonna see a Sand Awakening from Rune Deck to do 29 down to 19. What an interesting Rune Deck card. Yeah, there's a lot. We're also going to be working to try to get some potential hotel blocks set up as well. Swinging in for another 7 with this next Lancelot here. That goes through down to 12. Then Gawain for lethal. Blocking with the kitty here, so we should just be sitting at 12. And at that point, we pass the turn. So, an ethereal windstone from Jessica. Definitely not something that I've seen in IU before. Really, at this point, though, I'm not entirely sure if there's anything she can do to answer this board state. A lot of her expensive spirits aren't going to do much against here. She does have Willful Samurai, but that's only going to stop 1. Potentially is going to get bounced by those Skyfalls that we know exist. So we'll see. Yes, it is the Ruler School Grand FoW Festival. It's what we're hosting on October 12th. So we're really trying to break 60 players so that we can give away a grand in cash alongside all the other stuff like Uber Arthurs and all kinds of good stuff. Willful Samurai Spirit coming down here. And then just a pass turn there. Really looking, you see at the bottom there, we have trying to get that number of new Ruler School alumni. That's the membership thing. We're trying to get 10 during the course of this stream. If you feel like supporting us, we really appreciate it. See, there's 40 of you, 42 of you in the chat right now. It's just $2 a month minimum. We're trying to get $5 a month because it helps out and really goes to support the channel a long way. So if you like what we're doing, go ahead and consider joining as a member to get all kinds of cool perks and support what we do. And then Freya coming back in here just to form up as another blocker with the Vivian on board. With the Vivian on board and a Skyfall, I'm pretty sure this is just lethal. You can use the Vivian to tap down. Swing in the air with the Vivian first. Obviously, you want to maximize damage. And then tap down one of the 2. And then have the Skyfall for the second one. We don't have access. I mean, she's locked into what she's got in hand. So 2 will, 1 green, 1 colorless. She could have Lorite. She could have Fair Spell. She could have Miscalculation. There's a few options. 2-minute rounds, though, so there's nothing necessarily stopping her from winning in Game 3. Both these players playing a little slow, so whether or not they can finish a Game 3, even with IU in 20 minutes, is debatable, but we'll see. Ooh, potential mystery box play. That seems unnecessary at this point in time, knowing that your opponent's only got 12 life. Gonna use Lancelot's effect to pop the. Okay, we're using Lancelot's effect to pop the Willful Samurai Spirit, flashing in the Lorite in response to stop it. Erendite Blade. Oh, Keys' Call. So Keys' Call to be able to stop the Lorite trigger. So he's going to get to draw a card off of that. Still going to get to kill the Resonator off of it. And then at that point in time, she just scoops. So going into Game 3, definitely, could you give me as much possible? Yeah, so Apex. Apex, check out the link that I'm putting in the description right now. that should get you access to the pre-registration information in terms of the address and everything else. The information is also on the slide. There's a slide about it in the in-between section that you can check there. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be, and that's just the pricing that we have currently. We are getting more, so there will be more pricing coming down the line. "17 minutes on the clock. Definitely enough time for Jessica to win Game 3. Definitely enough time for Clayton to win, although festival. I'm seeing that we have some we're getting some dropped frames here. So apologies for that. I'm kind of watching. If we have to restart the stream, we will. Go ahead and just restart if you're seeing dropped frames, or if things glitch out. Let me know in the chat if things are gone. Ayu choosing to go on the draw, I think that's probably actually the right decision here. She gets the extra card, she gets the energize, gets her to a potential turn 2 Ayu flip if she just wants to go as aggressive as possible. It's really just going to be about how many souls she draws. I mean, if she can see a turn 1 possession stone into a turn 2 judgment with enough souls in hand, I mean, then that can be potentially a turn 3 lethal against this matchup, especially based on if she needs 2 souls and 2 souls, possession stone, and a resuscitating will to be able to do lethal here. And if she has access to any kind of bounce spell in game 1 or turn 1 to deal with anything that might set up a Lancelot play, she'll be in a much better shape. Looks like a turn 1 Viv. Turn 2 double Gwyn would be really good here. Call Stone would love to be, first turn possession stone. That's what Ayu definitely wants to see. Really setting up Jessica right off the bat here to be able to do just a very quick turn OTK on turn 1. Thought control, interesting decision here. Probably would have potentially just held up Will, but this deals a similar kind of thing. If there is a Lancelot in there, it looks like Skyfall, which doesn't matter. Double Guinevere, Vivian. I think you probably take the Vivian. Taking the Skyfall? I am confused as to why we took Skyfall there. Definitely seems like you would prefer to take one of the Resonators here rather than give the machine player the turn to just play double Vivian or double Guinevere. Clayton could even play Vivian into Guinevere and just maximize the counters that way too, while also establishing a pretty oppressive board state, at least at this early game. So I think the proper play here is probably Vivian into Guinevere. Nope, we're just going to do Guinevere. So 2 counters on the Viv, gets a third one, goes up to 3. Swinging in for 5. Says that's fine, I'll take it, go down to 35. Oh, not 500, 3,500. Second Guinevere coming down here, putting the counters on the other Guinevere. We'll have access to 9. Calling Stone, choosing not to do Judgment. Maybe a Black Tears in hand. Oh, special power medicine. That's pretty good at this point in time. An energize into black tiers would be pretty good. I think in this situation. Oh, glint of insight. Okay. Taking the Vivian. Okay, yeah, there's Vivian. He still has to show what the other card is. It's a Gawain. So no Lance for Clayton here. But this is a lot of damage. One and only. Oh, man. That's pretty good here. So a one and only is going to take both Guinevere's out. Actually, a really, really nice play here. Does burn her out, but it does take a lot. So it is going to kill. So what he could do is he could just banish one of the Guinevere's to the other one before it resolves. And then it wouldn't share a name. So that's a little, it at least takes one out. But yeah, it's since then the Guinevere's gone, so we lose it. Potentially, if Guinevere didn't have her sack effect, that play would have been really, really good. However, now she's just going to take a ton of damage here because we're going to go to a Gawain getting cast. Yeah, so Gawain's going to get cast here. A maintenance to follow it up. We're going to be heading in for a ton of damage in a really big board state that it's going to be difficult for I to deal with. So Clayton just kind of needing to pull the trigger here rather than being so passive. Just recognizing the opening that IU's giving him and being aggressive as possible. Check it to power medicine to make sure it doesn't give swiftness. Just make it a 12-12. Quick maintenance here, so you're suddenly hitting with Vivian will be hitting for 8. Guinevere can then hit for 4, so that's 12, and then another 10, so 24. 22 damage, taking Jessica down to 13. So 2 counters there, 2 extra counters on. I think you put them on the Guinevere, not the Vivian, but okay. So taking in for 10, taking in for 9, so 19, and then leaving the Vivian up because the Guinevere up because he does have no. He's just gonna go ahead and swing in. So 23 damage there total, going down to 1,200. Saying, look, I'm gonna put you at 12 life and force you to do something about it. Mystery box in the rune deck. That's not gonna get cast now. Potentially Return of God. Or Return of God would be pretty good right now. Ethereal Wind Magic Stone, so not even calling Stone this turn. I think, unfortunately, that pretty much seals it. Pig? Oh, we could see a Judgment here with the Pig getting the extra stone. And she would get a stone off of the power medicine. Yeah, okay, cool. So we're going to see a flip here. Going to get a stone off the power medicine. I'm not entirely sure how that helps against this board state. Misty Dragon Spirit from hand. It'd have to be another Possession Stone. So if it was Possession Stone and she had High Speed in hand, although I don't know if High Speed can hit J Rulers. I might be incorrect about that. I don't think it can. Does hit a Possession Stone. And then just pass. And we're going to pass turn. Sword Strike would be good here. So the problem is any combination of 2 Resonators on this board is lethal, right? So she can only block 1, and he's got 2 others to swing in. So the IU player does have access to Goddard and 1 Will, so we can get Sword Strike to stop one of them. Belisarius wouldn't have been enough right now, yeah. An Arrival of the Hero wouldn't be terrible. An Arrival of the Hero in hand, plus Arrival of the Hero in hand, plus a sword strike would be saving grace here. So we're going to see Return of God from Rune Deck. So we're going to look at the top 7. We can get a 4-drop or less. So let's see what we hit here. A Lancelot would be great. Lancelot would absolutely seal the deal, I think, at this point. Clayton really thinking about what he wants to grab off this Return of God. Looks like a Gawain potentially, although that's not going to have any counters on it. Donut Drone. That seems like there weren't many other good options here. I mean, it's still lethal pretty much. Mordred wouldn't have been terrible. Yeah, and I just don't think he had a Lancelot there. And Saturnus? To put the Power Medicine back on the bottom of the deck. So not bad. That's a card I haven't seen in a very long time. Let me see if I actually have that card in my little database here. I do. Saturnus. Getting to put an entity back on the bottom of the deck. Gawain. We're going to see pitches for IU. But it doesn't matter. Like with the 1 block from IU, like we have to have a Sword Strike. I mean, we do have Goddard. We can go get Sword Strike. There is a miscalculation in hand. Okay, so she does have a way to stop the attack. It's going to be about whether or not he tries to... So, like, it's going to come down to, weirdly enough, it's going to come down to whether or not he kills the IU this turn. If he doesn't kill the IU this turn, and she has a way to kill the Vivian, she's pretty safe. Falcon Spirit to pump up again? I don't know why that's happening. I don't know what's happening. Hold on. I think she's thinking Pierce works on block. I don't know why she would have. Hold on. Pause.
It would be so easy if I could pierce on blocks. Dark Elf spot. Yes! I know! Every time there's a Dark Elf spot. Exactly! Every end of turn, both players lose a life. So he kept getting me to 6 and throwing a stem on. I'm like, yeah, I was like...
Yeah, okay, so they both players didn't recognize that Pierce only works when someone is blocking or someone is attacking that has Pierce, and so ultimately she pitched all those thinking she was going to pierce the damage back to him because she has Pierce, but then she doesn't do it, and she knows that the only card left in her hand at that point is Miscalc. It's not going to stop it, so she just conceded. So with that, we're going to go on a little bit of a break, and then we'll be back for round 3. Hey there, everybody. We are back, getting ready for round 3. I don't know what the matchup is going to be against, but we do have a very interesting deck that we're going to be putting up.